You've had nights where your mind ran circles around itself, where you lay in the dark, eyes open, heart heavy, not from tragedy, not from pain, but from something worse. The quiet ache of knowing you're meant for more. You brush it off. You drown it out with screens, with noise, with anything that numbs the knowing. But it keeps coming back. And deep down, you feel it. You're living on autopilot, and the days are blending into nothing. Maybe you've even had that moment, staring at yourself in the bathroom mirror, toothbrush hanging limp, wondering, is this it? You check your phone for no reason. You scroll just to feel something. But when the silence creeps in again, so does the truth. And here's the truth. No one wants to say out loud, you are not stuck. You are stalled. You're idle because you're waiting for motivation, for the right moment, for someone to come shake your shoulders and say, now. But that moment, it's not coming. Change doesn't send invitations. It crashes in like a storm. It doesn't ask. It demands. And you either face it or fade into the background of your own life. Here's something most people never realize. Comfort is a slow death. It doesn't hurt at first. It just dulls you, softens your edges, lulls you into forgetting what fire used to feel like. And every time you tell yourself, I'll do it later, you hand over another piece of your future to fear. Let me be blunt with you. Change isn't a gift. It's a fight. And no one's going to swing for you. You've got to pick up the pen, step into the ring, and start rewriting the life you were too afraid to begin. Not tomorrow, not next week, tonight. Not because tonight is special, but because it's here. Because you're breathing, and because waiting has cost you enough already. You don't need to feel ready. You don't need to have a perfect plan. You just need to decide that you're done tolerating the version of life you've been settling for. And then, you act. Here's the method. It's simple, brutal, and free. A quiet room, a notebook, a pen, and a version of you that's finally done lying to themselves. Sit down, no phone, no playlist, just the honesty you've been avoiding for far too long, and write. Write the truth. The unedited, unfiltered, messy truth. Where you are, what you've been doing, and why it's not working. Don't romanticize it. Don't sugarcoat your choices. Expose them. Because the greatest tragedy is not making mistakes. It's pretending they never happened. You want to know why you haven't changed? Because looking in the mirror still scares you. Because you've been trained to numb, to avoid, to scroll instead of feel. Because silence terrifies you. But it's in the silence where the answers live. We live in an age where stillness feels like a threat. That moment you reach for your phone during a commercial break, that's not boredom, that's avoidance. We've turned distraction into a lifestyle, a constant feed of dopamine hits to protect us from the truth bubbling under the surface. But silence doesn't lie. It holds a mirror to your mind and says, now show me who you are. It reveals the habits you pretend are harmless. It shines a light on the choices you justify with empty logic. Most people can't sit in a quiet room with themselves for more than 5 minutes because they've never learned how to listen to their own thoughts without flinching. They fear what they might hear, so they keep the noise on, keep the notifications buzzing, keep the feed rolling, hoping the truth stays buried. But let me tell you something. The person you're meant to be, they're not hiding in the noise. They're sitting in the stillness, waiting for you to show up. And when you do, when you finally allow yourself to sit in silence, you'll hear a voice that's been drowned out for far too long. It's not loud, it's not polished, but it's real. And it knows exactly what you need to do next. Maybe it speaks during that late-night drive with no destination. Maybe it whispers when you're lying in bed, eyes open in the dark. Or maybe it rises up in the shower, uninvited, raw, and relentless. You've heard it before. You just haven't listened. Not in another YouTube video, not in a quote on your feed, in the stillness of your own thoughts. When you finally stop running, you don't need permission to transform. You just need the courage to start and the discipline to keep going when no one's clapping for you. You don't need another course, another coach, another perfect Monday morning. You need a decision. A single moment where you say, I'm done playing small. That's all it takes to change direction. Because momentum isn't built in leaps. It's built in steps. Small, honest steps. But you have to take one. Tonight. Right now. And yes, it will hurt. Not because growth is cruel, but because truth burns when you've been lying to yourself for years. You've been telling yourself, I'm trying. But you're not trying. You're avoiding. You're managing. You're hoping things will shift on their own. They won't. Nothing changes until you do. No one's coming to save you, but you can save yourself. The question is, will you? And here's where the real work begins. Not in a breakthrough, not in a transformation montage, but in the most boring, silent, unglamorous part of the night. When it's just you and the paper. That's where your life starts to move. So here's your challenge. Take out that notebook and begin with one sentence. This is where I've been lying to myself. Then let it pour. Every excuse, every shortcut, every time you chose comfort over courage, every dream you've buried, every moment you said yes when you meant no, every time you ghosted your own potential. Write it all, cry if you have to, but don't stop. Because what's on the other side of this exercise is not shame. It's clarity. Clarity about who you are and who you're no longer willing to be. That's where freedom starts. Not with success, with truth. You want to reinvent your life? Here's the map. Get honest, get quiet, get moving. The world doesn't need a perfect version of you. It needs a real one. Someone who's been through the fire and chose to walk out of it with the pen in hand. Tarantino didn't ask for permission to tell his story. He just wrote it. He didn't wait for someone to hand him the plot. He made his own. And that's what you need to do. Create, rewrite, reclaim. Stop playing a background character in a movie you never agreed to star in. There's a version of you, stronger, bolder, focused, alive. And it's not waiting on some distant horizon. It's sitting across from you right now, wondering if tonight's finally the night you'll show up. You've suffered long enough in silence, not because life is cruel, but because you've ignored the pain that was trying to wake you up. Now you're awake, and if you feel uncomfortable right now, good. That's the edge. That's where change begins. Use it. Use this night. Not to dream, but to decide. One small shift, one uncomfortable action, one promise kept to yourself. That's how you begin. And that's how you win. Not all at once, but word by word, choice by choice, page by page. This isn't just motivation, it's a warning. Because if you don't pick up the pen, someone else will write your story for you, and they won't do it with your heart in mind. So choose your pain, the pain of staying stuck, or the pain of rising. One leads to regret, the other leads to resurrection. It's not too late. You're not too far gone. Tonight can still be the beginning. If you're willing to stop waiting for change and start becoming it. So go. Write. Face it. Change it. Your story is waiting.